Greetings, my name is Tommy the Keyblade Master, and welcome to my channel. Well, we're in Mega Man month, and since I've already stated that we're going to be doing mostly Mega Man X and Zero, and I will focus on the original series at a later time, I'm going to be starting reviewing Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, and later today I will start posting a Let's Play on the original Mega Man X series, so both of those will be posted today. So, what can I say about Mega Man Maverick Hunter X? Well, let's put it this way. It's a really great remake, but it doesn't offer as much as Mega Man Powered Up. This was made for one reason. After Mega Man X5, Kinji Inafune kind of wanted to stop the Mega Man X series and focus on the Mega Man Zero series. While the Mega Man X gameplay has never been narrative driven, there was enough there to connect the stories and fans were really invested in it. However, once Capcom decided to keep making Mega Man X games along with the Zero series, things got kind of confusing. So Inafune wanted to go back, rewrite the X series so it would match up more with the Zero series. And through this reboot, we got only one game, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. So how is it compared to the original Super Nintendo game? Well, let's find out. The backstory in Mega Man X is fairly complicated. However, it never really translates well into the main game because Mega Man X again isn't very narrative based. But basically what this is about, and they do have a 25-minute movie kind of explaining the backstory, and you can see a few changes, especially with Sigma and his relationship with Dr. Kane. But basically it goes like this. In his dying days, Dr. Light made another robot that was superior to Mega Man. This one could think and act like an adult. Remember, in Mega Man Powered Up, they acted like children. Here, these are definitely more adult-like creations. But Light worried that X would one day go berserk and what that could mean to mankind. So he decided to seal X up in a time capsule. Skip a few centuries later, and he's found by an archaeologist named Dr. Kane. The two become good friends, and Kane decides that it would be a good thing for humanity if they had a whole bunch of Reploids based off of X's architecture to help do the work. So they create a bunch of robots. However, these Reploid robots eventually go berserk and start rebelling against mankind. For that, they create the Maverick Hunters, which X joins to stop these renegade robots under the command of a new robot named Sigma. However, Sigma eventually flips and starts destroying humanity, and he brings most of the Maverick Hunters with him when he decides to rebel. So it's up to Mega Man X and his new partner Zero to go save the day. For the most part, outside of some of the changes in the backstory, which would have mattered if this went into later segments, things like Dr. Kane getting killed before the story even starts is one of the different changes in this game. In the original Mega Man X series, he was at least around until the beginning of Mega Man X4. They kill him here outright at the beginning, so it's an interesting change. I wonder what they would have done with the whole Zero was created by Dr. Wily part of the Mega Man X story, how they would have handled that differently. Unfortunately, we will never know. The graphics in this game are pretty good. The original Mega Man X for its time was a pretty good looking game. However, what they do with the PSP version is even better. You get 3D rendered sprites walking around. The backgrounds look gorgeous. I just love the way the opening highway scene looks now. And it also ties in with that little anime movie I kind of mentioned before that helps tell the backstory. Because that one ends with Sigma launching a missile attack against the city, and you see some of the fires and explosions that the missiles cause as Mega Man just walks down the highway. It's really good. The rest of the stages are well animated. The bosses look great. And the characters themselves are better proportioned, especially X and Zero, than what they were on the Super Nintendo. As a 2.5D game, Mega Man Maverick Hunter X looks beautiful. As far as the sound and music goes, let's start off with the music. It is excellent. Mega Man's always got a little bit of a rock and roll beat, even back in his 8-bit days. In fact, his original name was Rock, so you got rock and roll when you combined him with his sister, hence kind of a joke. With Mega Man X, there's a little bit more of a techno beat to a soundtrack, but they all sound pretty good. Here's my favorite of the bunch, Storm Eagle's background music. As far as voice acting goes, we got Mark Gaitha doing Mega Man X. If there is anybody who can out William Shatner, it's Mark Gaitha. He always brings just a little bit too much energy to his performances.
I'll finish this! Right here, right now! I will defeat you, Sigma!
Still, it's a pretty good voice for X, and he's probably the best voice actor to do X, especially when you consider his voice in Mega Man X4 and another game that I'm pretty sure just flat out doesn't exist. As far as the other voices go, another interesting note is the voice of Sigma is done by a guy by the name of Dave Petit, if I got the last name right. But anyways, this guy voiced Master Asia in the G Gundam series, which means basically we have Domon Kashu versus Master Asia here. And in that Mega Man X mini-movie that is an extra in this, Sigma gets his scars on the eyes because Mega Man uses a burning finger against him. I don't know if the animators in Japan knew that the two voice actors over here at the time were done by the same people in the G Gundam and they threw that in as an Easter egg, but it's still a pretty cool link. Alright, let's talk about the gameplay in Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. It's pretty much a remake of the Mega Man X and it remains faithful to that game. And if you haven't played the Mega Man X series, well, they play a lot like the original Mega Man series. Basically, you choose a stage with a boss in it, you go through that stage, destroy the boss, get a weapon that is useful against another boss, so you find which boss it's useful against, go beat that boss for another item, and repeat about 8 times until you've defeated all the bosses and have unlocked the final stages. But Mega Man X isn't afraid to mix it up a little bit. Unlike Mega Man, which is what this basic formula was, X decided to do a few things differently. First, X is more of an action game in the way that it's designed. While it does have some platforming, it's not as hardcore as Mega Man, focusing more on fast and quick action and shooting over trying to jump over pits, especially the disappearing, reappearing platforming type pits that Mega Man was famous for. Aren't here in the X series. Instead, you'll be doing a lot of wall jumping as well as finding other power items to help you find other secrets and to power yourself up a little bit more. Those bosses' weapons are important, but they're not as important as finding things like Mega Man's 4 body parts upgrades, the sub-tanks, or the heart tanks that Mega Man X can find. These are more important than just beating the bosses, and finding them is somewhat tricky, and each power-up item really boosts your power. They also changed up the location of these Dr. Light capsules, which you find those body parts in. For example, in the original game, the leg capsule was found in Chill's Penguin stage, and you could not bypass it. Here it's found in Flame Mammoth stage, and you can skip it altogether if you want to run through the game without any of these extra power-ups, and some of the hardcore Mega Man X players just might want to do that. They also made a few other changes to this game as well. Most of them are good. One of the things they changed is they completely remade the last 4 stages in the Sigma's Castle. Now, I'm rather attached to those stages because I used to love to run through the last parts of this game and beat Sigma all the time as a kid, and these changes to me aren't as good as the original game, but they're not bad, and having some new stages and some new variety doesn't hurt this remake either. Like I said, they're different, they're not quite as good, but I don't consider them bad. But the big change, the big addition is the ability to play as Vile. If you choose to go as Boba Fett here, expect a completely different experience. Rather than picking up a single special weapon to use, Vile picks up different parts for him to equip to his body. Each cost a certain point, and you can only equip so many points to Vile at a time. after that, it won't let you use your current customization. But basically, you can choose the way he fires, what type of bombs he throws out, what type of missiles he uses, and the customization options he has are very, very large. So he's kind of cool to go through the game with, just to see the different items you can pick up from the different bosses. He's also a lot more challenging, and they also flipped around your sub tanks and your heart piece locations with him as well. So he's completely different gameplay as X. He also has his own story to go through the campaign with. This is a nice addition. As far as faults goes, there's only one big fault I have with the game, and that's mainly going if you defeat an enemy and he drops a power item and that item gets a little bit off screen, that power item disappears completely. If you go off screen looking for it and come back, that enemy can respawn really easily. This would be annoying on the Super Nintendo version when you're playing on a television screen, but on a small portable, with the edges cropped the way they are because it is on the portable, this can get frustrating, especially on areas where you're jumping from small platform to small platform battling enemies. Fortunately, these areas are far and few between, but when you hit them, man, are they frustrating to deal with this bug. If I had to give a number score to Mega Man Maverick Hunter X, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5. This is a really great remake of one of my favorite Mega Man X games and one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. It's a top-notch game, and this remake treats it well. I still prefer the Super Nintendo version a little bit more than this remake, though, and that's mainly because I like the last 4 stages on the Super Nintendo just a little bit more than I did the PSP version. That's not to say these stages were bad, they're not, it's just a personal preference of mine. But when you include the Vile mode, and then when you also include just the animated shorts and some of these voice acting skits that really do help you get in the story just a little bit more, I would have to say Maverick Hunter X is definitely worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of the original, or if you're looking to get into a Mega Man game and own a PSP or a Vita. It's well worth the $10 asking price on the PSN. Well, folks, that's the end of this review for Mega Man Maverick Hunter X. Stay tuned for my Let's Play, which should be appearing in a couple of hours if things go as scheduled. In the meantime, I'm going to invite you to sit down because this month I'm going to be reviewing all the main series Mega Man X games, which is Mega Man X 1 through 6 and Mega Man X 8. I don't know what happened to Mega Man X 7. It's like it doesn't exist for some reason. We'll also be going through the Mega Man Zero franchise, and if I have time, I want to go into the Mega Man Legends and also talk where it actually goes in the timeline, because I've seen even game trailers post Mega Man Legends in the wrong place in the timeline. It does not go after Mega Man ZX, and I can show it because of the story, especially the story in Mega Man X5. But I'll cover that later. In the meantime, I invite you to click on the subscribe button so you can subscribe to the rest of my Mega Man X reviews, as well as my Mega Man Zero and hopefully Legends content that is coming up soon. And I thank you again for watching this video, and this is Tommy the Keyblade Master.